Under the radar, altcoins set to explode. This is NCM or crypto. My name's Neil, keeping technical analysis short and sweet. And ultimately, I believe Bitcoin is going to follow this pattern placed out by these yellow bars here. Moving real quick, besides XYO and DNT under the radar, we're looking at NEAR protocol. NEAR is doing exactly what we would expect, pushing up over the 200 EMA, retracing to get that stability with the RSI. It is building higher lows, trying to creep up over that yellow line yet again, which could ultimately push this up towards this downward trend line. We may get a little rejection there, making the RSI creep back down to be a little bit healthier before ultimately pushing back up and breaking out of that downward trend line. Keeping in mind the 618 is right here at 5.76, and the next stop is potentially all the way up here near $20. That's why they call it near. It's $3 right now, but getting over that 200 EMA is very important. Once that is held, the next real resistance is this line. Beyond that, it's got a long way to go. Bringing in perpetual protocol. Testing. Broke the downward trend line, had that major pump to the 200 EMA, major rejection, and right testing the downward trend line yet again. Volume picked up, RSI is healthy, perpetual protocol is building up. Ultimately, we want to see it hold above this downward trend line and over that 200 EMA at 32 cents, more or less. When it starts holding over that area is where you would be looking at an entry, but we have seen rapid movements once it gets over that 200 EMA with very quick increases in price, 112% in about 2 days. And so it does move very, very fast. Keep that in mind. Perpetual protocol is at a very, very low point, 26 cents. All-time high up here around $23. And ultimately, we have to get past $1.37 and $1.92 before there is no real resistance till $5. But a 26-cent entry is not a bad point. Main thing to keep in mind is we are getting a lot of volume and bottoming out for perpetual. Moving over to Epic. Not looking good. Not even going to enter into Epic. Avoiding that one. Cookie Dow. Cookie Dow, I had my entry. It's been in consolidation, testing underneath this upward trend line. Not looking the best, but it is breaking this downward trend line. Could it tap this? Yes, that's a possibility. The RSI is oversold. Volume is picking up. We do want to see it hold above this previous low and get over this 200 EMA before a bigger entry on Cookie Dow. But the 618 is all the way up here at 54 cents, and you can stake it, but I would not recommend staking at the moment. I would be capturing profit and putting it elsewhere. Sapien, sorry dude, whoever was in Sapien, I know you were holding right in this area, but as there isn't enough information to get a good idea of where it would be heading, we only had this upward trend line to give us support, which it clearly broke and had a continuation downwards. You may cut your losses and get out of this, put up your money in something else that may be pumping, but right now it's not looking the best. Ultimately, we need to be above this trend line and this previous high to start looking at a bigger buy for Sapien. ZRX, not looking the best either. Needs to get over that 200 EMA. GRT, also similar to ZRX, needs to get over that 200 EMA. Now moving into Quant. Dude, I know you're holding on Quant. And it's not as scary as the first ride down, is it? Because we know that there's some support within this area at the 618, around $87, which is right where we tested off of, giving us this upward trend line. We are working within this downward channel. Ultimately need to break this black downward trend line, which I will make yellow. That's what we need to be breaking. Ultimately, we may see a little resistance off of this line, but we just need to get over that 200 EMA. Last time we got down this far, it was 1 or 2 days before it pushed right back up and had that continuation to the previous high. So we could see the exact same thing with Bitcoin potential to move upwards. We could see this easily pick up, get over that 200 EMA, and have that continuation to break this previous high. So for those of you trapped, it's just a waiting game, but this is why we diversify. So when you have the opportunity, definitely take out some profits and put it into other coins. And for those of you who have been entering into Compound, I'm sorry this is taking so long, but it is similar to XYO. It needs to have a build up before it can rip. Imagine the 200 EMA is just some dude poking it with a stick. Eventually it is going to get pissed off and punch this thing in the face and take off to new all-time highs. Currently sitting and consolidating at its lows at $41, 42 roughly. But we see last time it was at a previous low around this area. We had major volume increase showing that we are getting some strong support. And once we get over that 200 EMA, Compound is also very violent. We could see it push up to 139, get a little bit of consolidation before its continuation all the way up to the previous high around 916 for a $41 investment, turning it into a grand. Grab like 6 or 7 of those, then get yourself a motorcycle for the price of $250. But that's just an option. It's not financial advice. Aerodrome doing its downward wedge retracement, but getting some support, building higher lows from this previous low. About to test this downward trend line again. When that breaks, we can see Aerodrome take off violently as well. Spell. Sorry for everybody who's in these other coins. I don't have enough time in a day to make videos for each individual one. Spell's not looking the best. We still need that 200 EMA and this black downward trend line to be broken before entering into Spell. IOTX. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Not looking good either. Full retracement on IOTX, but held support on that upward black trend line. So back at 0.0 yet again. Still need to break that 200 EMA. Ultimately, your entry would be over 0.034. CTSI, McClaw, I know you entered CTSI, and it's almost any time you enter into the market, it has a pullback. It's the psychological effect of it, but Bitcoin had its pullback, and we may get a bullish engulfing. If this blue candle closes above this previous orange, we can expect further upside to CTSI, and if it does not, at least the 50%, we may see some consolidation before it will hold and close above that 200 EMA, and then ultimately push up. Currently at almost 8 cents, but it has a long way to go to get to its all-time high. So CTSI, not a bad risk to reward ratio on that. Jasmy was actually looking pretty good in a wedge. Needs to get over that 200 EMA before looking for an entry. Ultimately, you'd want to see it break and close above that 0.018. So that's a waiting game on Jasmy. Metal was something different, but is building some support. The thing that concerns me with metal is its major all-time high. I think it was way up here. It was like $50. So it had this major pump, then just liquidated everything and is now at 39 cents. That's my main concern with metal, but it can be traded on MEXC. Reference link in the description below. And if you use it, you get 10 USDT free. Flare Network looking very healthy. If you have not entered Flare, this is actually where you would be looking for an entry. As it is holding that support on this downward trend line. The previous line right here at 0.023 cents is where we are getting some support. And we can start seeing Flare break over this 0.026. And Flare moves very quickly, as we've seen in the past. Very rapid movements. And just within a couple of days, around 100%, within a week and a half, 167%. We are currently at 2 cents. So we can imagine the 618 here at almost 4 cents for Flare Network. But it is definitely a good coin. We've made a lot of money in the past from this coin. LCX. LCX, this is the entry. If you have not entered LCX, myself, I need to enter a bigger position into LCX and broke a downward trend line. It's holding support over the 200 EMA. RSI is a little overbought, but it is healthy. The volume is building 2 very green candles, and LCX is ready for liftoff. So if you had not entered LCX, now is your time. But it is not financial advice in any way. I'm just letting myself know with my own opinion. LCX is a good bet at this moment. DIMO still retracing, nothing to look at. XDC consolidation, holding that upward support and that 200 EMA. This thing is about to take off. It just needs to break the downward trend line, and 0.09 cents is where we can expect it to minimally retrace. We could see the retrace to 10 cents. Once it breaks 10 cents, this thing can take off up to a little bit of rejection at 15 cents and beyond. Floki, major rejection, not even looking at it. A lot of meme coins had some major pullbacks, but now is your buying opportunity, especially for Doge. If you missed your 21-cent entry, this was the resistance we previously had, which we are testing as support at 24 cents, and now is your entry for Doge. Actually, going back into Floki, upward trend line does have a little bit of support. We could see it pull up from this point, but ultimately your entry would want to be over that 200 EMA. And we'll sneak in Toshi and BCH. Toshi, major pump up, major rejection. We do have a little support at this 0007, and we could start seeing it head towards this downward trend line. The CM Guppy is getting a little stronger, and this black upward trend line is mainly what we are looking at right here. This is our important strength, and as long as it holds a higher low, we can start seeing some upward momentum for Toshi, keeping in mind that it is a meme coin. And lastly, BCH. This is the range we are looking at within BCH. So the longer it goes out, the wider the range. Once we get over 1718, we could expect that next push up to here, around $1,000. It is building up very nicely, keeping the 200 EMA very close, similar to one of my favorite coins, Tornado Cash. And we can see that potential move upward for BCH. And last but not least, always bringing this one in as we are up over 100%, even with the pullback. I guess we are up still 80%, testing that 200 EMA, keeping it nice and close, holding the previous line that we needed to break around $11. Major support, CM Guppy, holding within the CM Guppy. This water is about to take this to a new level. So if you have not entered Tornado Cash, it is highly recommended, but not financial advice. And it's got a very nice little review on it about how this person stole millions of dollars and used Tornado Cash to wash their money to not be caught, which has a good use case scenario. So you can trade Tornado Cash on MEXC, reference in the description below. If you use it, you get 10 USDT for free. And like and subscribe if you haven't. Good luck, have fun with it, and I will see you guys on the next one tomorrow or the next couple of days when the bull market will start.